Good morning, everybody. I'm Dan Ells, your co-host of Zap-TV. I want to welcome you to March's show. Before we get into it, I want to start by talking about how the system works. First of all, I want to make sure everybody gets signed into Zap. Open your computer up, get signed into Zap. The only way you're going to improve how you use the program is to follow along with Wayne as he goes keystroke by keystroke. Number two, get your phone out. That's how you're going to communicate with us throughout the show. We're going to put up a phone number for you here into your text app, 321-300-7759. I want you to treat that like raising your hand if you were in class. If you have a thought, if you have a challenge, if something is troubling you about what we're talking about, please reach out, text us the question, and throughout the show we will stop and answer those questions. At the end we've got a Q&A to wrap questions up, so we'll do our best to get to everybody's question. The last thing is, just so you know, this is going to be recorded. Within 48 hours at the end of the show, this will be back up on the same site you're on right now. So if you want others to see it or you want to review it, you'll be able to come back and take a look at it 48 hours later. Now, before I go any further, let me introduce our co-host and Zap expert, Wayne Weaver.
Hey, how you doing, Dan?
Good to see you, my friend.
Thank you.
Welcome back into the show. We've got a pretty cool theme this month, using Zap to turn contacts into clients.
Yes.
So that's going to be kind of fun, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's like the age-old question, more contacts than clients, so we want to turn as many of them into clients and money as we can.
Awesome. Now, before we get into that, you have a special guest for us on an update, right?
Yes. So as we talk about our Zap updates, which is normally the way we start the show, we've had some, like usual, some great work done by our team in Emeryville, and we have Jonathan Reese joining us via Skype. And Jonathan Reese is a solutions architect in Emeryville, California, works hard with the team out there to bring agents and brokers the best product possible. So,
awesome.
Welcome, Jonathan. Thank you for joining us.
Hi guys, how are you doing?
Good, good. So I'll let you kind of start with some of the most recent updates, and then I'll kind of go back and forth with you a little bit so that we can get the best information possible to the agents.
Absolutely. I'm hearing an echo. Sorry. One thing that we are excited about is giving you more control over the automated emails that the system is sending that you're initiating. So you may have noticed about a month ago, we gave you the ability to CC multiple people on new listing alerts. We then gave you the ability to blind carbon copy BCC yourself on those new listing alerts as well. That was a big request from a lot of people. It mirrors a lot of the ways that you work with the MLS and the way you send listings. So we're getting a lot of good feedback on that. One of the things that we just released in that vein is the ability to turn the emails, the automatic emails on or off from the contact profile instead of having to sign in as the user. We've heard from a lot of people that there was just confusion about the way that you had to sign in as a user and find the email campaign to turn it off. So we're giving it more self-service all within the contact profile. You can just scroll down to whatever section you want to do, whether it's new listing alerts or follow-up campaign or something like that, and just toggle the little switch on and off. And then, if you get a request from your customer that they don't want to receive the homes in that price range or something like that, you can easily turn it off. So the next one is something that was a subtle change, but it made a big difference. We got a lot of feedback that the Find an Agent page was not accurately representing how you want it to be seen. So what would happen, so this didn't come up until a lot more people got reviews. There might be an agent with 30 reviews that were 5 stars, and then all of a sudden somebody rates them as a 4-star. The way that we were ranking previously was on the actual rating, and so an agent who had one 5-star rating was showing above the agent who had 31 ratings with a 4.99 average rating. And so, we heard from you that didn't seem to be a fair representation because the person who had the more reviews is probably doing more business, doing a better job. And so we changed the sort order to show by number of reviews. So it could be that someone has 51-star reviews and they're going to be at the top, but they will show the most active we're hardly seeing any bad reviews actually. But it would be more fair that the people who have the most reviews are going to show at the top. So we've got some good feedback about that. And we're not done with that page. We have several other improvement ideas and suggestions that we've heard from you. And we're working on a lot of those in the coming quarter.
Great. Yeah, that was always one, when we're live in the field and we pull that page up and always seeing, one or two reviews, and then, someone in the group would be like, man, I have 17. And I'd scroll down a little bit and see them. And now, actually yesterday, I was at a broker and meeting with some agents, and we were actually able to see it the other way, where the agent showed up with 17 reviews ahead of an agent with one. So and they were pretty happy.
I was going to say, and that makes a really big deal for the people that are out there doing what we're asking, which is getting as many of the ratings as they can get on what they do.
Yes, correct. So. So that's awesome. I love that. And the first one as well, with being able to run more of the business for a certain contact right from their homepage is awesome as well. So what else do you have for us, Jonathan? Those are two good ones.
Sure. So one of the things when I joined Zap, I came from a brokerage where I was using Zap with my agents. And one of the biggest things that I came into Zap wanting to improve or advocate to improve was the way that the dashboard works. So I'm excited to say that there's going to be a lot of movement on that coming up. The way that you deal with requests on the dashboard. So normally there were a lot of different links. If you clicked on the showing request from somebody, it would actually bring you to their contact profile. There was a view details button that wasn't quite clear what you should click on. Simplify that whole process. And you can do all sorts of things from the drop-down window. You can mark it as complete. So maybe you talked with that person offline and you don't need to write any notes about it. You did it.
Yeah.
Let's say mark showing complete, done. I contacted that person, done. You don't need to go to the contact profile to deal with it. There was also confusion. Get somebody to go away from that top section. You've got a request, showing request, and they just build and build, and it wasn't very clear how to get rid of them. So we made it a lot easier, and we changed the screen. So used to be the list request was at the top. Then you have to click a little button that expanded things at the bottom. And so now we've changed that sort order, and now the most recent is at the top. You have to leave, want to get in touch with them quickly, you don't want to have to scroll to the bottom of the list.
So again,
I was going to say one thing, Jonathan. I'm going to have him demonstrate on the dashboard that for everybody, because that sounds like an excellent improvement. Like you said, it's small, but it's mighty in what it can do for time and utilization of the system.
Yeah, and again, your background as and as mine, an agent using it, your manager using it, working with your agents in your previous career, just unbelievable. That you're now working on a team that's taking it to, making those subtle changes that the agents actually want. Making it easier for us to just move around and maneuver around in the system. So appreciate that.
Well, Jonathan, I want to thank you for coming on again. And like I said, I'm going to task him on a couple of things you shared with us. But we appreciate all your efforts out there and how you're helping out the team.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Jonathan.
So let's review some of the stuff he talked about. The dashboard. Let's take that first. I thought that was a pretty cool little improvement. Is that something that we can take a look at?
Yeah. So if I go live, I'll just simply show you. In like Jonathan had said, they are actually working hard to continue this process, and I guess the overall process to make this simpler, to make me just be able to simply log into my system and deal with a task without going through like a process. So I'll go in my dashboard live and just show you how simple it is to just one of the things Jonathan mentioned is to update those tasks.
Okay.
So I'll let Buddy take me live, and then I'll make sure that, so this is what you see when you're, when you log in, you're live in your dashboard. And just one of the things that Jonathan had mentioned is the simple, are these tasks right here. In the past, I mean, I can click on this task, and it would actually show me, I'll click on it quick, it'll just show me, exactly what, what property he asked about. He asked, it was a showing request, and he asked about 2350 Wellman Place, and I can deal with it that way. If for some reason there was something, just a little quicker with that, I could actually just hit that actions button on the right-hand side, and that's where I can actually, I could view the details. I could actually schedule a showing if Jonathan Clarkson actually wanted to see that, or I can, just simply mark it as complete. So when I mark it as complete, then I could actually go right into leaving a property insight. But it's just a quicker way for us to, clear this, the tasks in the dashboard to, just to clear that up, because we have to remember that those tasks in that dashboard come from actual contacts in our database requesting information or wanting to see houses. So we want to make sure we look at those and see those and keep up to date on those.
Can you just comment on the other things that he had? Because I know there was some audio challenge, just to make sure people understand.
Yeah, so that was one of them. The second one was the ColdwellBanker.com find an agent page. So we can search, a consumer can search on the ColdwellBanker.com national listing page and search for a list of agents that work certain zip codes, certain towns. And we've actually reversed. They were always ranked. The default was by rating. So what Jonathan was talking about is that we often would do a search and
you can come back to us, buddy.
And an agent with 1 or 2 reviews, 5 stars, is showing ahead of an agent that has 30 reviews and is at 4.8 or 4.9. Right. So we've reversed that. So the number of reviews is the default search. Again, at the ColdwellBanker.com site. So,
awesome.
Yeah, so those are some of the
was
most,
there one other one? There was the.
Yes, he had talked about actually on a real quick. I'll show you. So I'll go live again, buddy. Sorry, I'm going to go back and forth here. If I just pull up Roger, we used to have to sign in as him to turn off listings, to listing alerts, to kind of go through that. So now I can actually just scroll down through here in campaigns. And just know that, so here's a bunch of listing alerts and showing requests. I can actually, turn these off and on and CC them right from his home detail page and not necessarily have to sign in as him. So you can see now that we can CC an agent. If I hit this little pencil on the right-hand side, you'll see that I could actually adjust, who's getting that CC, and we used to have to go into the sign in as him to do that. So we're just kind of making it a little bit easier to do more of the details and what Roger wants right from his profile page, not necessarily taking extra steps to get to that.
Awesome.
So those were the 3 updates. Good stuff. There's so many updates coming, so I would encourage you to either pay attention to the community or some emails that are going out with all of the updates. Because that was just a touch in what they've been working on since our last show in February.
Awesome. Hey, I want to shout back out to you guys out in Greenville, South Carolina.
Very cool.
I want to thank you guys. Welcome to the show. Anybody else that wants to shout out to us, let us know, especially if you're in a group, say hi. So that's our update. Now, getting back to where we always start, day in the life of a Zap agent. The theme again, we're looking at how do we turn clients or contacts into clients. That's kind of our theme. So if I asked you, where do we start with this? If I'm an agent and I'm sitting there going, okay, what needs to be the baseline for me to be able to be effective in doing this? What would be a couple things?
So there's really 2 that jump in mind before we actually get a little deeper in Zap. And the first one involves your website. So
as in the agent website.
Yes, you have every agent has a personal website, active, up and running, very powerful. For them, it's so important that we take the time to go down that My Website page in Zap and just make sure. I mean, really, what we talk about is, does your website tell your story? That's the key that we really want to get across. So that's kind of the first step. We know there are a lot of consumers, contacts finding our agents' websites. So we want to make sure that's up.
So this comes back to what we talked about last month in completely finish the profiles.
Yes.
Get it all done like we talked about, in the SEO playbook going out to Yelp and stuff. So, so we got to make sure that our websites are complete. It tells our story. What would be the second thing as a baseline? This is where we need to be if this is going to work for us.
Yeah, so it's adding contacts. So, and when I say add contacts, it's not, the 5 people that I'm working with currently.
Right.
It is all my past clients, all of my current clients, my entire sphere, including family, friends, and neighbors, past coworkers. I mean, it's just crazy. How much more empowered we will feel with all of those folks in one spot, and then we'll actually be able to start working them.
Okay, I want to just share something I talk to agents about all the time. When we talk about, it's the number one source of business according to the National Association of Realtors, of people that but if we don't get them into a system, it doesn't work. So I always like to say, why don't you get it done? And agents say, I don't have the time. It's so meticulous to get everything typed in. Little piece of advice. There are high school students and college students today that type at 1,000 miles an hour.
Yeah.
Many of my clients have said, hire a high school or a college person because they understand databases and they can probably take the 50, 100 cards and contacts you've got sitting around, get them into the system for you for a few dollars, and now you can start working.
Yeah. So that's it. So that's just something we have to do, are those first 2 things. And then we're ready to get much deeper into Zap and actually working on contacts to clients.
Cool. Okay. Spartanburg, South Carolina, C.D. Kane, hello to you too. Thanks for reaching out.
Awesome.
Okay, so in the daily life, we broke it down to 3 things. First thing that you want to get into is listing alerts. So let's begin there. What is a listing alert? Where do they find it? Why do they do it?
So very simple. We have contacts in our database. Anywhere from a friend or a family member that could potentially be looking at a house, maybe just like getting them, all the way to true clients that have reached out to us and told us, hey, I'm looking for 3 bedrooms, 2 bath in this school district, in these zip codes, whatever. So we just have the ability in Zap, again, just knowing that we have a direct IDX feed from the MLS. So we're sending these essentially from the MLS, but in our Zap platform. A listing alert, setting it up once and having that contact in your database get multiple listing alerts a day on any new properties that hit the market.
Okay, so we say that we're taking contacts to customers. How is that helping us convert that?
Well, I mean, so it's actually twofold with the fact that, when they're getting that information from us, anywhere from somebody that just asked once about a house, it would be a great idea for you to set them up on a listing alert for something similar in a similar location to their house. Anytime I've seen that done, usually it triggers them to go, the contact to often say, well, it's not really what I want. Can I change that listing alert? So we're already starting to get them information that they're really wanting and staying in contact with them, of course, with a branded email from us each time.
Okay, so a question came in, which I thought was great. Do I need permission from the person to give them listing alerts?
No, actually you don't. I mean, and that's it. They can shut them off if they're like, man, I don't know why you're sending me that. They could easily, unsubscribe. But the fact is when we initiate that, we're kind of heading it off. Like, I know you looked at this one house. You are likely, unless you're just bored one day, you're likely looking periodically for houses in that zip code, in that school district, in that price range, in that condition, whatever. So if I can actually start setting that you up on that, often, like I said, they'll actually come back to you and say, yeah, I love it, or can we change that? But you've sort of engaged them at that point by getting them stuff that they're often looking for anyway.
Okay, I know we've done this before. Can you show where we go to do listing alerts?
Absolutely.
And while you're taking them live, buddy, I just want to comment. Whenever you do have those people that respond to you after the listing alert and say, hey, can I change it? Can I update it? That's a perfect time to ask for an appointment. This is, again, converting.
Yeah,
Instead of just
absolutely.
be passive. Guys, when that happens to you, don't be afraid to say, hey, I'd be happy to get together with you and understand your needs more. And then that will put you in the position to be able to do that.
Absolutely. So I'm actually going to, I'm just going to click on somebody that's in my database, and it's Roger. So now Roger has said, hey, I would like, a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, or he didn't necessarily say it. I want to set Roger up. Sometimes it's it's a client that I have. So if I just simply, right from his start of his profile, click on that More button, and like I said, we've shown this before, and some of you may have done it. But if I click the Sign In as Contact, so I just scroll down to just under Other, and I signed in as contact. And the fact is here is this is actually the agent signed in as their client Roger on my website, the agent, and I can simply just do a search. So if I just start with a town, and I'm just going to do a simple search. So that's all I'm going to search for. I'm not going to break it down, but just know I can hit this filters button and certainly break this down. And if I'm breaking this down for a for a true client, I'm going to obviously break down price and bedrooms and baths. But the fact is I could actually just, I'm actually going to pick, let me pick someone else. We play with this account. Let me pull up Matt, and I'm going to sign in as Matt. And again, just do a search for a town. So I did my search, 135 properties come up, and all I have to do to get this search started for my client Matt is I just need to hit this recommend search button right here. And when I click that recommend search, this is a message I'm going to type to Matt. And as soon as I hit email this recommendation in the lower right, Matt will get an immediate email with all 135 properties that's available now, and I will keep him up to date multiple times a day with anything else that hits his criteria.
Awesome. So there's your opportunity, but we have to do it, right? Contacts have to be in there. We have to then set up the listing alert, and then we have to look for that opportunity of them coming back to us so we can make things happen.
Correct.
Okay, so bring it on back to us, buddy. So that's listing alerts, and again, give us the opportunity to convert, again, that contact to a customer.
Yes.
You bring it back, buddy.
Yeah, that is, that's the ultimate way to get started with, the fact that.
Buddy, bring it back.
Yeah, that's the ultimate way for you to start being in touch with again, clients are clients, but contacts in a way to start bringing them towards the client piece of it.
Okay, and this is happening without a whole lot of effort. If I do the front end work, then I just got to wait for that opportunity and ask that question.
Correct.
Okay, the second one that you gave me was follow-up plans. Now, again, follow-up plans, we've done them many times on the shows. Why and how does the follow-up plan give us that opportunity to make that move from a contact to a client?
Yeah, so, clients that I see every day, I talk to. We're looking at properties, we're in contact about which properties we want to see. But, we go back to the contact piece. In a contact is a great opportunity to become, a contact is a great opportunity for them to become a client, but they won't just necessarily become a client unless we're working with them. So follow-up plans allow us to grab every contact in my database, including friends and family, not only remind them we sell real estate, but just engage them enough at whatever level we need to for that contact. To not only let them know we sell real estate, but also to keep them engaged, offer your help, let me know when you're ready. So basically we can design follow-up plans for each individual contact or as a group to better stay in contact with them. Again, just engaging them.
Okay, and they can be customized.
Correct.
And they can be edited. And if we don't apply them to each contact, then we got to leave it all in our head to be able to remember to do stuff.
Yeah, I mean, you get 20 people, like, hey, I can deal with 20 people, but your
Get
sphere,
300
your
people.
sphere are 300, 600. I hear thousands. We would never expect. We can't expect people to just remember us. We can't even expect past clients just to remember us.
Okay, I want to do
So-
something different with you. Let's go in. Let's go ahead and go live. Let's go in and let's go to the plan. And I want to just pretend like you just entered me. You entered Dan Elzer in there because we met, and I'm really not, I might be looking to do some work with you later, but you know that you don't want to lose touch with me. What would you do in the plan for that situation?
So, I start with looking at the plans, but, I actually pull up a contact. I pull up Wayne, and Wayne is somebody that needs to go on a follow-up plan. So
Okay.
now before I assign a follow-up plan, I do need to know that I got to look at what follow-up plans exist. What follow-up plans can I use? So, we've done this before, but they are in the Manage button on the left-hand side. And you will see that there are email scripts, call scripts, and then the first one is email or a follow-up plan library. So when I click on that follow-up plan library, here are just a bunch, 224 follow-up plans in this follow-up plan library. Some are sample ones that we do it just as for training, and some are written by companies, some are written by myself, and some are written by the brand. So basically, I am going to have to scroll down find this, and basically, I'm going to find follow-up plans that I like, that work for me, how I work, how I run my business, how I stay in contact with contacts. And that's kind of where we're going to start, is with this list.
Okay. Now, you pick one. The question that came in, the reason I'm asking these questions is, how do I get started doing it? So if I needed to create one, or I needed to edit one, what's the easiest way for someone to get started getting that plan going?
Yeah, so it's really twofold. So I can actually look through these, and you'll see this list. I'm just going to actually pull a brand one, and it says Closed Seller Follow-Up Plan. On the left-hand side, you're going to see a plus. If I just expand that, this is basically the breakdown of the follow-up plan. So I need to actually look at that as the agent and determine if that works for me.
So you've got, hey, we're set to close. Congratulations on the closing. How's life after the move? Can you believe it's been a month? Just checking in. Happy home anniversary 1 year later. Okay, so there's 6 really good touches.
Yes. So so if I determine that really works for me, just always knowing that if I'm using a follow plan that has that little phone in there, the follow plan is expecting me to actually pick up the phone and make that call to a client in my database. So I need to know that I'm actually going to do that, so the follow plan moves forward. So two things. If I wanted to adjust this a little bit, I could actually hit the pencil on the right-hand side. And if I hit that pencil on the right-hand side, I could actually take that existing follow-up plan and change it. So I can make it longer. I could change one of the phone calls to an email. I can change the personal emails to automated emails. Again, that's me saying, this is how I work. This is how my contact, my
And I can change an email to a call.
Absolutely. Yep. Yeah. Knowing that calls work. So, but again, I have to make it work for me as the agent and my contact or my client. So that's kind of the piece that we have to make sure we do, to again make sure that when I assign follow-up plans that they're how I work. And then the second piece is I could actually just create my own. So if I actually click in the upper right hand corner, add my own, this is where I'm just creating one myself. And we're not going to get deep into that. There are some great Get Zapped series webinars on a great webinar on how to do this from start to finish. So there's a lot of resources. But the fact is when we talk about these in me making it work for me, just know that these do not have to be like in-depth emails. Like, simpler the better. We're really just trying to find a way to say hi to a contact and them see our face. And what our consumers are basically telling us is, yeah, I really don't need another email that says it's spring, because I think I know it's spring. But if you just send me an email that says, like you write an email that's 2 sentences long. You know, hey, hope all is well with you. No pressure, just checking, touching base with you. Let me know if I can help in any way. Like that is way more valuable to me, and I will actually read those, and I will just delete the one that says, hey, do you know it's spring? So
Gotcha.
just know that your follow-up plans can be really simple, besides the fact that you could make a 2-year follow-up plan with 5 different emails and just repeat them. So again, make it simple on yourself, but make it very effective for who you're sending them to.
Okay, so yes, today's broadcast is being recorded, and it will be back up on this site in 48 hours. I had another person reach out. And the past broadcasts are on. They're on YouTube, right?
Yes,
They're on YouTube.
Yeah, and we're working on a plan on that. So stay tuned for all. We're gonna find a way to make sure these are
All of them are
to you,
available
but
to you.
Yeah.
But this one will be up in 48 hours. Okay, we're got to get rolling here. Analyze Zap score. Can you give us a quick? This is kind of a wake up and work on things, right?
Yeah, so when we talk about turning contacts into clients, everything we've done will help build the relationships and keep them engaged with you. But the fact is that there's one thing we can do to actually make that work for us, and that is analyzing a Zap score. So if I go live for a minute, buddy, and just show you, so the first thing, once you know that you're on top of all those things, is just simply clicking on your contact's number, and this is where you will know who you need to reach out to every single day. This is where the analytics of Zap come into play, and it allows me to just hover down my entire contact list, knowing everyone's in there. I've got people on follow-up plans that need to, or listing alerts, and just hover over Zap scores that tell me what someone's doing, and then I know when to reach out to them before they reach out, or before they have to reach out to me, before they may run into another agent. It allows me to stay in complete contact with them, and that's the best way, is analyzing Zap scores once you've got it set up to turn contacts into clients.
So
plain and simple.
If we wrap up, day in the life of an agent for turning contacts into clients, one, we got to make sure that we're leveraging the listing alerts, because that is doing free work for us. That's out there prospecting.
Correct.
2, you can come back to us, buddy. 2, we got to make sure that our follow-up plans, every time we input someone, even a simple follow-up plan, make sure it's there. That's going to tell me, my CRM is going to tell me what to do every day.
Absolutely.
And then if we just will get in there every morning, turn it on, and look at our scores, it says, here's who's hot, here's who I should be talking to. And all that's going to save me time, it's going to make me money, and it's going to cause me to convert in a way, and I don't have to buy a single lead to do that.
Absolutely. So yeah, that's the key, is allowing the platform to help you. You got to do a little work in the pre to get ready for it, but then then it's just a train rolling down the track, and you're sitting back and analyzing Zap scores, and you will be amazed as to which Zap scores come out of nowhere. In 9 out of 10, you will say, my goodness, who is that person? And then that's the best feeling, because you're like, man, they've stuck with me, and I've actually let my platform do all of the work for me.
Awesome. Okay, so Zap on the move, using the mobile app. Now, everything, or about 80% of what we can do on the desktop, we can do in the mobile app, right?
Correct.
And I just want you folks to look at the mobile app as a tool. We've been doing these shows over and over again. Every time we get to the mobile app, that's where we live. You look at the statistics. People are moving to mobile. Most people are about, and they have their phone. By the way, buddy, if we can bring that number up again, if you got questions, make sure, if you joined us later, 321-300-7759, go ahead and shout out or ask a question. But the mobile app I look at as like a tool. If I need to drive a nail, I want a hammer, not a piece of stick or my shoe.
Yeah.
If I don't have the hammer, it's going to make it very, very difficult. If I have the hammer, it becomes very, very easy.
Yes.
So that's how I look at that. So just take us through a couple things that when you're out and about, that thing can be basically a great tool to save time and make some money.
Yes, absolutely. Obviously the phone, crazy stats, the thing is always in our hand. But why not use it to your advantage and stay in contact with every single one of those contacts and clients in your database. So I'm going to go on my phone, buddy, and show you the app. So what the app I'm talking about, you'll see in the lower left-hand screen there, a light blue Zap app. Just for the record, if you have not updated that or re-downloaded it, there is a brand new app. It was launched about maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. So you would want to make sure you have the latest version. But once I click on this, what this does is, again, my entire business, any contacts, any showing requests, any requests for information, any notifications that I would get are all on this mobile app. So it allows me to be showing a house 10 minutes before I'm waiting for clients. I'm at the doctor's office. I'm running here, running there, waiting for the kids. I can always have my entire business. When we go back to all your contacts are in here and you're working them, all at your, all right in your hand and able to work without going, oh, I need my laptop. I got to go in the office. So
what screen are you on right now?
So as soon as I log in, the initial screen are your tasks. So you will see
and these are driven by
contacts or clients in your
or
database.
your follow-up plans?
Actually, these people are just asking questions about a house or actually wanting to see a house.
Okay.
So I can shift to the left. There's notifications. These are the most recent requests for information. And then on the right-hand side, any of my follow-ups that are needed per follow-up plans. And of course, new contacts and any lead generation follow-ups that are needed.
And I can analyze Zap scores from here?
Absolutely. So if I just simply go to the very bottom, and this is my one piece that I can actually do this and run very efficiently while I'm on the run, is if I just hit my contacts button on the at the very bottom, what this is going to do is list every contact I have in my database, and the default you will see is that Zap score. So it mirrors your desktop version, and I can just scroll down through here and analyze, who do I need to touch base with? So many things I can do, but the fact is I am in contact with every single one of these people, and if I just click on Steven and realize, oh man, I need to talk to him, you will see at the very bottom of the screen in the blue is I can call, email, or text him right from the mobile app. and it keeps all that in the history. Obviously, I can look at the very top. You're going to see details. I click on activity right next to it. Any history that I have with him, any business. So again, so many things that I can do with him. And then in the far upper right hand corner, you'll see 3 little dots. If I click on that, I can actually send Stephen a welcome email to my website if I needed to. Or I can share my mobile app, or I can ask him for a review. So many things that we can do, with this mobile app to help us run our business. And just know this mobile app was redesigned and created so that it can be built to do more in the future. So we are going to be able to continue to do more and more with this. Certainly as Zap changes and gets better for us. But just as this app grows, we will be able to do more and more.
So yeah, I remember last month we had the update that the app was redesigned.
Yes.
Now, from a practicality standpoint, and you can come back, buddy. Folks, we know everyone's busy. We understand that. We know there's a lot going on, and that's why this system is here for you. If you think about getting up with a cup of coffee or a bowl of cereal and just turning on the app, making sure that you are getting everybody in, doing all the things we talk about. But what you could sort, understand, touch, sometimes you're just in the mood to make that quick call. And there it is. You touch the button, the call goes out, you leave a message or you talk to the person. Task done, more prospecting done than any other agent around you. And maybe you send the email. Maybe you request that review because you forgot to. All of that can happen simply because you turned on the app.
Yeah.
And we can't stress enough, the passion that we have about this system and what it can do for you. We can't stress enough that you have to get going with it for it to work. So with that, I want to get to our mail call because there's a couple questions that came through that I waited on. And one I think we need to address I wrote down that was really good. And I can appreciate this. I'm excited watching you guys. But then, after the show, I don't know how to get started.
Oh, okay.
And I can appreciate that. You get watching, you're doing stuff, then life takes over. Give me 3 things that an agent that's excited wants to do it, but then they get either bogged down or they don't get started? What are 3 things they should kind of program to make happen?
So, I mean, if you're just trying to get into it, I will stress use the support that we offer. Learning Zap. So don't be afraid to use that first. There are awesome community messages, and then knowledge base, and we have videos. So you can rewatch one of these. You can get so many tools that we have that so learning short. Just learn how to do the website on a 4-minute video, and then actually go do it. So just knowing the support's there for anything you want to do, but the main thing that comes down to it, and we've probably talked about this before. I talk about it almost every day. When I'm out with agents, is you will never be able to do Zap tomorrow. I'm never going to go, oh my
I'll get
gosh,
to it tomorrow.
I got 3 showings today. Of course, we know we're busy, but if you take, if you just start with 10 or 15 minutes or a half an hour and say, I'm gonna make sure I log in. That's a huge victory in itself if you haven't done that. And then look around, add 3 contacts, and then do that the next day. And then watch a video and make sure your website's, so if you break it down to, I am going to log in every day for the next month and do something, then you're building, you're kind of building a habit where you're going to want to log in then, because then you have a bunch of contacts and you've set up a bunch of listing alerts and all of that. And quite frankly, when I see agents log in, they're actually excited, because they're like, oh my goodness, look at these Zap scores. And oh man, Jonathan hasn't opened an email in forever, and now I'm seeing that he opened an email. So
I want to come at you differently. Again, we all work with the folks out there. You're the expert. You're embedded in this. But the person, I think, that said this gets excited and gets bogged down. What is one thing they should do? Not this. I mean, if they only did one thing in the system, I'm only going to do one thing. I mean, should I put people in and do follow-up? Should I put people in and do listing alert? What would be one thing that would get me down the road?
Yeah, so it starts with adding contacts.
Okay.
So
and then what's the one thing that I would do with the contact instead of all the?
I mean, in reality, you have to look at each contact. So when I add 100 contacts, I need to look at each one of them individual and go. I have no choice but to say, who are you? Are you a past client? You need a follow-up plan. Did you ask about a house and then went quiet? I haven't heard from you in 3 months. You're going to get a listing alert. So each client. So that's the process you have to take. Is once you get contacts in there to start, you have to break down each contact and decide who they are. Because just having, what's the difference if I have 100 contacts in a stack of papers or 100 contacts in a database if I don't do anything with them? So, but once they're in there, and that's where we kind of, just again, follow the same path. Look at 30 contacts a week. Make it a goal that 30 contacts a week, you're going to get in there and decide who they are, why are they in your database, and what you want to do with them.
Okay.
And then you just start, that's when you start building steam up.
So to break it down real simple from what he just said, like I said, he's the expert. He understands this so well that he gets ahead of me even. He said 30 in a week. That's 6 a day for 5 days. If you woke up and just put 6 in, made that decision, got follow-up plans on them, and that's it, and walked away. Next morning, wake up, look at those scores, put the next 6 in, and walk away. If you did 6 every morning for 5 days, you'd have 30 people in there that you've made a decision on that's going to start driving business to you to turn a contact into a client so you can start making money.
Correct.
So we're coming up against the time here. If you have any questions, save them for the next broadcast. And speaking of next broadcast, save the date. Our next Zap-TV is going to be April 11th, 12 noon again, Eastern Time. And if you come to that one, I think what we're going to do is look at the spring market, right?
Yeah, we're talking a lot about using Zap for sellers and getting listings. So we have a lot of neat features that are kind of sometimes off the radar, because we're always, Zap is all buyer related. No, there's a lot we can do for sellers as well. So that'll be our next broadcast in April. Okay, Maria, thank you. She said she loves the TV training. Okay, and had a quick question. I've got 1 minute about, are we going to get into how to actually turn the contact into a client, hence how to turn the occasional user into engaging clients.
You have to follow everything we just said, number one. But one thing that you must do, if I left you with one thing, it's when you see opportunity, get live. One of the things this can do a great job of is identifying opportunity. But it still takes face-to-face, phone-to-phone to convert that sometime user into a raving fan. So if we don't pick up the phone, if we don't go run into the people, if we don't go knock on their door, that's not going to help you. So that's my best advice to you. See an opportunity, get live, and you'll turn that contact into a customer.
Correct.
Well, guys, that's all the time we have today. So I want to thank you for being here. We'll be here next month. For myself, I'm Dan Elzer, my partner Wayne Weaver. We want to thank you for being here.
Absolutely.
Have a great day.
Thank you, guys.